I'm about to go to my grandparents' house, which is why I'm wearing this chestnut spring shirt. Oh, okay, let me explain. I'm wearing this because my grandpa was a farmer, like he lived on a farm. He had horses, like he had to do the farm stuff, like milking the cow. That's why I'm wearing this. And I feel like he will appreciate this shirt. Even though he doesn't know what chestnut springs is, he will never know what that is. And you know what? My grandpa doesn't need to know about that. Update, he liked the horses and the cowboy hat. Also, literally, what is this on my nose? I blame clubbing. I blame me going to my grandparents' house basically just means I have days to just read as much as I want. All my responsibilities out the window. Not to worry about anything, which I'm very blessed and privileged to have the opportunity to do. So I have several books here because yes, I'm trying to read 30 books in November, so you'll be seeing me read 10 books in this reading vlog. How long is it going to be? I don't know. Let's try to keep it. Let's try to keep the length down. But I do, you know, sometimes I just find it hard to stop. I am bringing 8 books because I've already read the other 2, which you'll find out eventually. I'm not explaining it because we'll get to that when we get to there. These are the books that I'm bringing. Already I'm deviating from the TBR. Already I am. But you know what, that's okay because I do have a few on here. This was on my TBR. So was this one. I'm bringing a Frida McFadden book because her books are just so easy to fly through, and like this one sounds so interesting to me. She's also really good for like, I don't know, just reading when you're kind of like don't want something hard to read. Does that make any sense? I'm in the middle of this one. My grandma has read this one, so I need to read it so then I can discuss it with her. This one here. I'm really excited to read this. The Grudge. She has been still this entire time, and yet as soon as I say The Grudge, then she moves. What? The Grudge. What else is it? The Grudge. The Ring. The Exorcist. For the Naturals, which is like YA Criminal Minds apparently. The other one's here. I'm only reading one. The only other Jennifer Lynn Barnes book I read is the first 2 books in the Inheritance Game series. I liked the first one, and then the second one I didn't like as much, so there's a bit of hiatus, but I do want to finish that by the end of the year. Yes, I'm excited to read this because like I love Criminal Minds. I have seen every single episode of it. I don't know why, but like in Australia you just could not find it for like a reasonable price. Like I got a box set and it was like really good deal. I think it was like $60 when everything else we came before was like $300. I'm like $300 for 4 books. That is insane. No one is paying that. And then we have the twisted ones. The lore behind why I'm reading this book. Can I tell you? You can't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone. A dude told me to read this. Well, I gave him the options. I was like, what should I read? And he picked this one. A dude that I was already supposed to have stopped talking to by now. That's okay. And then the last book we have is Daisy Darker. I read one other book by Alice Fink. I like the writing of it. I found it I read with prefaces. I don't know how anyone could have not actually guessed the ending. It was very easy to guess, but apparently this one is like very highly regarded. So, and then the other 2 books you'll have seen me read, or you will see me read, is Charmed and then Camilla. But these are the books I'm taking, and I guess, you know, I'm just gonna see how much I can read. I love thrillers, one of my favorite genres, because when I'm just reading them, it's just so like you're not thinking about anything else but the books you're reading. Okay, amazing. Actually, instead of reading these 2, I ended up reading these 2 instead. These ones will be postponed for another video. Also, the weather is like really like cloudy and downcast, so it's like really good weather for like reading, I think. I'll show you. See, look at the sky. Initially, I thought this was going to be like a girls' trip, but it's not. It's about the 3 couples going together to like get away from like work and their children and everything. So as they are, you know, traveling on their way, their minivan breaks down in the middle of the woods because obviously it does. So then they have to walk the rest of the way to the hotel. First of all, why is there a hotel in the middle of the woods? Like, is that even a thing? The hotel in the middle of the woods?
Oh, the Dead of Winter one. Yeah. I remember that one. I read it here as well, didn't I? Yep. Yes.
Anyways, now apparently, one by one, they then get striked down. Honestly, I really do love movies with friends in like remote locations. Like The Descent is one where it's like a group of friends, they get like trapped in a remote location, like they're in a cave but like they're in the woods here. The Wrong Turn is in the woods though, and that's like a group of friends And actually, I do love The Wrong Turn. Well, the first Wrong Turn. The latest one that they brought out in, like, was it 2020 or 2021? That was an abomination to society and they should have never brought that out. But regardless. At the end of the prologue, it says, at the end of this week, only one of us will make it home alive. But the prologue says it's like an anonymous point of view. So who is it and how do they know that? Like, how do they know that only one of them is going to make it home alive? I mean, I guess it builds suspense because it's like, okay, so who is this random anonymous point of view? And like, why do they know that? Also, something I've noticed about this lady's books is the husband is always the worst. There's a dude in this book, he's called Noah, and she was talking about, they were fantasizing about growing old together, holding hands while sitting in matching rocking chairs in a retirement home. I feel like that's very Notebook coded.
I never read it. I've never seen it.
Well, it's a romance movie, but yeah, the dude in there is called Noah.
Yeah, I'd rather a good Western.
There's a bit of cheating in that movie, and there's some cheating in this book as well. You'll never guess what I bought yesterday. I bought this Grinch toy plushie thing. And the little, like, How the Grinch Stole Christmas book. And it was $39, but that's okay. Because he was so cute. And then I saw this Eeyore with a Santa hat. So I had to get that one as well. So, yeah. And we're ignoring the fact that he's a door stopper. So, Sid core.
Oh, please. I know my berries. Swallow. Yeah, fine. If there's one thing I know, it's...
Okay, so they're talking about rabid coyotes. And someone has gotten injured, so they can't like move. And the main character was like, if a rabid coyote bursts into this clearing, we're done for. We don't have a weapon. That coyote would certainly be able to bite at least one of us before we could overpower it. At least I'm not the sitting duck. If I were the person who is injured, I'd be terrified right now. The coyote would definitely get her first. What? I feel like there's just so many like random lines that this lady always has in her books. The sort of things explored in this book, we have, I wrote it down, okay. Cheating, marriage breakdowns, friendships, creepy men being the worst, in the remote location in the woods, no service.
Who wrote that one? Not Darcy Coates. No. Her name is called Frida McFadden.
My glass matches the book cover. What I will say about this book, now that I'm like halfway through, is it's very bingeable. Like, I've basically read it, aside from when I took that small little nap, like all in one sitting, because you just kind of just want to know what's going on, so you just kind of like fly through it, which I guess, yes, that's good. It's also less than 300 pages. I have a theory of what I think's happened. Look, it's 555. I keep seeing that angel number. Okay, so I have finally finished this book here. I say finally, I literally read it in, well, it took me hours, but I read it in a day, which is pretty good, but it was less than 300 pages. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a fast reader. I just kind of read a lot. It was alright. Was it predictable? Yes. Okay, and you can go to the end. Well, at the end, you can see. Because I was like, I think it's going to be this. For the main thing, yes, I was right. And then the other thing that I initially thought as I was reading was obviously that was not the direction I was going to go in. It was like it was alright. I liked it much better than The Housemaid. Never Lie was, I don't know. I think this is like, I'd say in the middle of like those two books. Yes, and like I said, it was like very bingeable, like very quick and easy to get through. And I didn't hate it. Like, it wasn't like I was reading this book and I was hating my time reading it, which is always good because, you know, you don't want to be reading a book and hating it. So that is the first book down. So I'm gonna pick something else now. It's fine that I read it, like I could have lived without reading it, but yeah. The ending was like a tiny little bit rushed, maybe a little bit, I don't know. Maybe it's just, the entire book was like very fast paced. I'm going to now read either the Twisted Ones or the Foldcroft Ghosts because I've already started those books and I would like to get them done. I think I'm going to read the Foldcroft Ghosts. What I will say about that book is already like weird stuff is going on. There's like weird tapping, there's like weird figures going around, and the main girl's kind of in denial, which I guess I'm just a really like suspicious person, and like I am someone who does believe in like the paranormal and stuff. So if I see something that looks a bit funny, I'm like, ghost, like you will never hear me like never believing in the paranormal stuff, which, you know, I don't think it's necessarily a spoiler to think that it's, well, we don't know anything yet. We don't know like what's going on, but the fact that the book is called the Foldcroft Ghosts makes me think that like there's ghosts there, because that's literally the title, but like we don't know anything yet. I do like the brother and sister dynamic between them, and I like how like protective she is of him. It's like actually really quite sad what's happening in their family situation, because yes, essentially like these two kids, their mother is sick in hospital, so they have to go live with their grandparents who they have never met before. at this secluded like house. But yes, I do love the vibes of the small town, and I also do love the vibes of the secluded house. And I'd say the writing style is like, it's pretty simple, like pretty easy. It's kind of, it's like, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's not necessarily lyrical or beautiful by any means, but it gets the job done. I'm going to talk about the twisted ones just while we're sitting here. My immediate impression is that I really like the way Mouse's tone of voice, which is the main character, Mouse, main character, the way her tone of voice has been established. Okay, essentially the twisted ones is about this girl who basically, her grandma was a hoarder, and her dad is like, can you please go to the house and clean it out? And she's got so much stuff in the house, like so much newspapers, whatever. And then when she gets there, she finds this like little diary, and she starts reading it, and like weird stuff is going on. So assuming has something to do with the twisted ones. But yes, I really do like the way her tone of voice has been established. Like, I like that she's kind of, I don't know, I think she's funny. Like, it's enjoyable to read in her perspective, which I really love, because I feel like there has been so many times where I'm just reading from these characters' perspectives and I'm just like not liking them at all, and I'm just like, it's insufferable to be in their mind. But I really like her tone of voice, I really like her personality, I vibe with her. Now the backstory is given like immediately, like 5 pages in. It gets to the point and it makes sense because how it's written, like the Mouse is like telling the story to the reader, breaking the fourth wall quite a lot, addressing us directly, if you will, which is fine. Like, it's basically like she's just oversharing, which is fine because I fear I also overshare, especially, I went out on Saturday. The amount of random people that I was telling things to, because I was like, this is a situation, blah, blah, like, what? It's like, stop.
You need to block me so I don't get charged, because I fear I am.
Whatever, yes, I overshare. I think it's so funny because this book, like, see, like when I was younger, like I wanted to be an attic cleaner. Like, I wanted to like go in people's attics and clean them. Why? I don't know, that's not even a real job, but I feel like cleaning out this woman's house, I'd be like, I'd do that. But yes, so far so good. So yes, I'm going to try to read those books, but making pretty good time. So like, this is what I like being here because I can just sit and read, and yeah, I'm not feeling any guilt because uni is done and then I don't have work until later on. There has just been a storm. There is such weird things going on. These grandparents are so, how do I say this nicely? They're making me feel deep concern for their grandchildren. Also, this book is definitely, I feel, for younger audiences, because I think the main girl, she's like 15, so young adult, and the brother is even younger. Also, am I cheating for when I say I'm reading 30 books? The books so far, like, I've read are pretty short. Maybe that counts as cheating because I'm not like reading, I don't know, 500, 600, 1,000 page novels. But, you know, really, at the end of the day, it's still 30 books that are being taken off my physical TBR, which is, you know, really like the aim of doing this is just to get it down before the end of the year and then next year as well. Also, this is just a really niche thing that I love in books. I love in books with slightly scarier paranormal themes, when there are like Polaroid cameras and it reveals like paranormal stuff. That's something, a trope, really niche thing that I do love in books. See, this used to be one of my favorite books, and see, look, Polaroid. Also, in the author's note, it says that this book, like the main point of it is like a local mystery that has gone cold that needs to be investigated. Okay, so I finished this book last night. There's also a whole bunch of like little short stories at the end. So initially when I said that this story, the author's note said it was like a mystery that went cold. No, that was from one of the short stories that had absolutely nothing to do with the actual book itself. Also, the fact that the main character is 15 is giving her a lot of pass because she's making a lot of decisions which are eye-twitching, and it's like, why would you do that? Why on earth would you do that? That is not a well thought out plan. That is not a well thought out plan. Do not do that. But she's 15, so it's like, okay, well, she's young, she's naive, like, okay. Honestly, for what this was, I thought it was like pretty good. Like, there's some twists. There's some, you know, reveals that are given. It's like creepy. There's a lot of like weird stuff that goes on, and it's like, oh wait. However, I do feel like there was a lot of stuff that was missing, and I don't know, I think it's because the book is short, but I wish there was more about the family. like the Foldcroft family, I wish there was so much more that went into that. There were so many things that I was expecting to be revealed that just wasn't. So I guess that's my own fault for like assuming things, but I just wish there was like more that went into the family and everything. And I definitely feel like there could be a follow-up. Like the ending is slightly open-ended because it's like, hang on a second, what, hang on a second. But yes, I wish there was kind of some scenes were like dragged out a bit longer. And yeah, but like for what it was, yes. And am I glad that I finally read it? Yes, I am. And it's another book of my TBR. So look at us go. The next book I'll be reading is The Twisted Ones, to get that one done. And then yes, I'm very excited because like I genuinely think that I can get this challenge done. Like I think that I can read 30 books in November. I think I can. Like, look at me go. Well, this was a book that I did read. What was that? I have another one of this author's books. It's the Goose Girl retelling one. I think it's The Sorceress Comes to Call. I am curious about that one because the Goose Girl, it's a fairy tale, meaning it's, you know, a fairy tale retelling. I'm curious to read that book. But also this book was based off of something. I read it in the author's note. It's based off, the Green Book is the diary from Arthur Machen's found manuscript story, The White People, published in 1904. So maybe she just like finds things she's inspired by and then writes stuff. I don't know. But I'm curious to read that one, so I'm glad I have it. And I will be reading the Goose Girl story. What's it called? Yeah, it's going to be like The Sorceress Comes to Call. Something I really liked about this book was her dog. The fact that she had a dog. And the fact that she cared about the dog. And the fact that the dog doesn't die. And I feel like that is a deal breaker in a lot of people's stories. So no, the dog doesn't die. There's a whole bunch of like weird stuff in this book. Like she finds these weird statues that have like twisted faces, and her grandma has an entire room filled with just dolls. And one of them is like one of those ones where the eyes move. Stop. I know exactly which ones because I had one of those dolls when I was younger, and like you could tilt its head and it's like its eyes would open and close. When you think of it, it is like kind of creepy. But was I scared? Unfortunately, no. I was mainly just like, what is going, like I'm reading this and I'm just like, when I got to the city part and I'm just like, in the bones, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm like, this is, okay, but I wasn't scared, and I wish I was. I'm like, it's night, so it's not like but I, unfortunately, no, I was not scared. But also, I just don't think that I get scared very easily. The only thing that like truly scares me are stalkers. I tried to watch a stalker documentary. I could not. I literally could not watch it. I was so scared. There is kind of a very large section of this book that's just a whole bunch of ramblings from this man who has dementia, recounting what he remembers from this teenage girl's little green book, and she was rambling on a bit. So there's like entire sections of just like ramblings. Do you see what I'm saying? Honestly, it's kind of a vibe. I really like the side characters. Foxy is my favorite. This book was definitely just very weird. There were weird magic stuff, weird rituals, weird creatures, weird woods, weird settings. Just a lot of weird situations were happening in this book. It was weird. That's like, you're just reading it and you're just like, my favorite quote of the book is, surely unholy abominations wouldn't follow me to Walmart. And that wraps up the third book. We're making good work of this TBR. We just gotta keep reading. Criminal Minds flashbacks.
How old are you? 29.
30.
Please ignore the fact that it is raining now. Also, fun fact, you know that book there, The Twisted Ones? I was like, oh yeah, a guy told me to read it. Guess what? No longer in contact with him. He is gone, never gonna speak to that man ever again, and I think that's a good thing. Because I don't want to. I can't. I can't, because apparently this month I'm supposed to meet my soulmate, and I know for a fact that he's not my soulmate. So he needs to go because he's not the one. Okay, now let's talk about this, because I binged this book and it was so good. Okay, like this book was so good. Okay. Like, I love Criminal Minds so much, and this is giving Criminal Minds, which is YA, and it's so obvious when you're reading it that it literally feels like it could have been inspired, like it feels like it was inspired by Criminal Minds. Like, that's the best way I can put it. Like, literally profiling, like one of the very first things that I learned when I was doing like in my first year of like the first psychology course that I ever did in my entire life, I learned that there are like basically no profiling jobs, at least in Australia. There's like 3 profilers in Australia. Like, it's very, I know this is set in America, but like the point I'm making is that like profiling is very rare. So the fact that like Criminal Minds is about profiles, and then this one there's like 3 profilers in there, it just happened to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's whatever. The point I'm making is that it is giving Criminal Minds vibes. It does. So we have the main character, her name is Cassie, and she has been recruited by the FBI, where essentially there's a whole bunch of other naturals, which is basically these teenagers that have been gifted with all these like special abilities, and like they have like a special like natural ability in something that can really help is in like the police force, and basically they're tasked with solving cold cases. So one of the characters we have, his name is Dean. He's also a profiler. We have Leah, who can recognize lying. Like, she's a very naturally skilled liar, but she can also like tell when people are lying, which I just realized like when the book was almost done that liar, like her name's Lia, but like Leah, liar, it's like close to the name. Then we have Sloane. Now she's very good with statistics. She's basically a human encyclopedia. She can recognize patterns so well. And then we have Michael, and he can read people's emotions so well. So he can like look at you and like analyze like what emotion you're feeling. There's a slight love triangle in this. There's like drama, which, you know, I don't know, I really like this book. Anyways, the plot of this book is that basically there's an active investigation, and they want to all get involved, but they're not allowed to, because it's like you're teenagers, like you're tasked with solving cold cases, not active ones. And this book is really just following the journey of Cassie being recruited in and meeting everyone and kind of like learning what's going on. My car is getting pelted by rain. It better not hail. Like, it actually better not hail, because like I don't want to be dealing with that. Like, look at the ground. Like, look at the rain splattering everywhere. I really don't want to say too much about this, because I feel like it's better to just go into it blind, and I feel like if I'm telling you specific things, I feel like then you're not going to be going in blind. Even though I feel like I'm one of the only people who like hasn't read this. Like, come on now, people know about this for a very long time, but like it is good, and now I see why it's so good and why some people talk about it. It was so addicting to read, but like literally you cannot, if once you start reading this, make sure you have no plans, because you will not be able to stop. The only thing I'll say is I wish who the actual killer was, I wish it wasn't so obvious who it was, because like it was just so obvious. And maybe this, because I have seen every single episode of Criminal Minds, I was able to be like, hang on a second, this but I like the fact there's like another little twist with the killer. I like that, because I like when there's like multiple twists in a book, like not just, okay, this was the person that did it. So that's good. My final rating on this is going to be 4 stars. It wasn't like 5 stars, but I have a feeling that there could be other books in the series that are 5 stars, and I'm gonna have to force myself not to race through this series, because I do have all the other books, and I'm not going to be going home until tomorrow, so I can't even read them until tomorrow. But just the fact that like I just know I'm going to like this series, I'm gonna have to force myself not to race through it, because then I'll be well, and then I won't have it. I just know it's gonna be good, and I'm liking this so much better than the Inheritance games. Basically, I got about 5 pages into this before I was like, I need to update you, but I'm going into this book with the expectation of beautiful writing. I'm also going into this book with the expectation that it's like a haunted house, I think, and I don't know, this book like won an award. It's kind of like broken up a little bit differently, and the book is like quite short. It's very interesting so far, but yes, this is that, and I will update you a little bit later. I have 85 pages left of this book, and a lot has happened, and there are so many different narrators and points of view, and things switch up a lot, and like a lot is happening. Like, one of the main characters, she has pica, which is an eating disorder where you eat non-food items, There are definitely like a lot of weird scenes in this book. So for example, there's a weird scene with the brother, he's another perspective because they're twins, and his girlfriend like wants him to cut her hair short to be like her twin, his twin. So I'm back home now, and do I remember what I got up to last night? No, I don't. We have 4 books left. You will see the other 2 books. You'll see the other 2 books at the end, and you'll know why they're at the end, but these are all the other books. By the way, the second one of this is on its way, because I saw it, and I looked at it, and on eBay, if you view something, then someone can give you like an offer. So then they gave me a discounted price, and I was like, well, okay, fine then. But this is the books I've read so far. These 2, because I'm in the middle of both of them. And then we have these 2, which I kind of started Daisy Darker. Not really. But let's talk about these 2. I can't remember what I said, so I'm just going to like quickly do a really quick recap. So there's multiple different readers, different points of view, and things like switch quite a lot. But yes, a lot is happening in this book. So yes, we've got different perspectives, different people, the girl, the house, or the girl's twin brother. Oh yeah, I got to the part where I was telling you about the weird scene. So what happens in this scene is the twins, okay, the guy's girlfriend wants to cut her hair off because his twin has short hair, because there was an incident with her hair and bindings, and there's an entire incident with that. So then she had to have her hair really short. So then his girlfriend cut it because then the guy said that everyone thinks that twins are incestuous, especially like boy and girl twins. Everyone thinks they're incestuous. And I'm like, is that true? Like, is that what people think? Like, I have never once looked at twins and thought, yep, they secretly are in a relationship. I've never... Is that, like, what people, like, actually think? Because I read that and I'm like, so I don't think people think that. I don't think they do. But yeah, some weird things, like, she washes down her pills with vinegar. Then there are these girls that try to kill her because they're like, you tried to kill my cousin. And then the cousin is like... So it's just, there's a lot is going on. Okay, a lot is going on in this book, like, and you wouldn't think it because like it's so short, but there's just so many different things going on. The title was mentioned at the top of this page. See, White is Witch. Like, it's very strange, this book, but how it is written, I really like the writing style and itself. Like, I don't know why I like this kind of writing style, but I just do. Like, there's nothing that really stuck out to me. There's a few lines and stuff that I'm like, oh, that's really nice actually. There's also a few there's a few lines where I'm like, okay, that did not need to be said. But like, it's very bizarre. Like, for example, a bizarre scene is an apple rolls across the floor and then a mannequin picks it up. Yes, a mannequin. Like, something that's in store windows, it picks up, like comes to life and picks it up. It's very strange. Like, I don't know what I was expecting going into this, but this house is making them do weird things. But yeah, now we're like more in a sort of university setting. So that's interesting. Miranda's she's an interesting character to follow because, yeah, she's a very interesting character to follow. She's a little bit like, not like other girls, and a little bit different because, I mean, she's more different compared to other people. Like, she wears like old-fashioned clothes and... Oh, a delivery's at the front door. Shall I get that? Okay, 2 seconds. Hang on, it doesn't say anything on my address on here, does it? Oh, it's been wrapped up. Red, this is the book I want. What is that? What is that random sticker on it? What does that even stand for? I'm very good now at scanning the page numbers to make sure there's no missing pages. But I got this because I really wanted this cover for this book. And like, I just wanted this cover for this book. And I didn't want one that had like a Netflix sticker on it. There's not even a Netflix sticker. But I just wanted this cover, so I got it now. Hey. And it's from eBay. So, me, sustainable queen. Were we just talking about eBay? Oh, was that? Weren't we literally just talking about... Yeah, we were. Okay. Because we're talking about the witch book. Like, I can't stop reading it. Well, obviously, okay, there was a stage in the book where I'm like, I have to stop. And so that's when I started reading Bunny. And then I was like, I have to stop reading this. And I went back to this. Because this one, okay, this book is honestly reminding me so much of The Secret History. Elite New England college is a, you know, really close-knit group of friends that like bring an outsider in. So yes, Bunny follows Samantha and these creative writing students, because she's a creative writing student, and then there's the bunnies who are also creative writing students. And they kind of like were always, you know, just not being very nice girls. Like they'd always laugh when she was there and be like, oh, you wouldn't get it, like it's an inside joke, whatever. And so Samantha's always felt like on the outside, but then she gets invited in to join their little group. So she goes because she's like, I don't want to spend another year just being the outsider again. So she joins them, and like at their smut salon where they kind of go around and they read like erotic stories, and then they're like to her, you got to share one now. So it's a little bit like, oh, okay. And then now some weird stuff has gone down. Okay, I'm up to chapter 12. This page right here, this guy's head explodes. Literally explodes. Blood and brains all over me, the walls. Blood all over the bunnies and their whimpering boys. Bits of skull falling on the hardwood like hail. His headless, suited body remains standing before me. Then it collapses to the floor. I hear my own scream stretching in my face. Something drops at my feet. An ear. And then Slave to Lovers playing on in the background. So, yeah, both of they're very, yeah, okay, so that's, yeah, I don't even, let's just, also, oh yeah, these girls, bunnies, they're like really rich and privileged, and like they live in like a nice neighborhood, but the place where they live is like really dangerous after dark and everything. Also, I like the fact that the college is called Warren, you know, like Rabbit Warren. And then there's been like some weird scenes, like she's just trying to walk and then all these bunnies, like literal like actual rabbits, are following her. So it's like, oh, like both of these books are just very like fever dream. Like it's literally like, what is going on? Like that's like, because it's like actually what is going on? Like especially this book here, like this book for being so short, I'm like, and honestly I do, even though like it is like a lot of switching perspective, it doesn't like take too much to guess, like because literally there'll be like a few sentences and then someone will say a name, or it's like, okay, well obviously like if it's in Elliot's point of view, it's like, well then he's talking about Miranda, well he calls her Mary, so it's like, well obviously it's gonna be Elliot's point of view, because if it was Miranda's, whatever, and obviously it's Or's because someone calls her or like whatever. And then there's a house as a point of view, and the house is weird. Like, and the house like is controlling people because it's like a bed and breakfast, and so the house is like controlling people, and like it's a lot. I don't know how much more I'm gonna say because I feel like it's better to like go into this kind of like blind. I think I kind of told you like a lot of random things out of context, so like hopefully that's fine, but I don't know how else I can, because I think I said this was like a haunted house, but it is so much more than that, and so I feel like it's almost a disservice just to be like, this is a haunted house, and then not like kind of give you specific and sort of odd things, and like perhaps the things I said build intrigue, and now you're like, I need to read that because like what is actually going on. So there's that. It is the 14th of November, so I did start this challenge, and I think I started this challenge on like the 8th of November or whatever, so yeah. But if worse comes to worse, look what I have. I have these. So, oh, this looks like a little book that I can read. No, I've got so many books here that are like kind of shorter, which, yeah. Also, do you want to see a sneak peek of some of my Christmas books? These are some of the Christmas books. Slay. I have some arriving, but they're not going to get here until like the end of November. So good thing I already started buying my seasonal books because I'm not going to be able to get them. Okay, yes, I'm very excited. I cannot wait to continue this series. I cannot wait. Stop. Put it down. Put it down. But yes, my goal for today, these two. What I will say about those two books is that they are just so layered. There is just so much with both of them, and it's just like, there's a lot going on. That's the Grinch that I brought up there. He's beautiful. But I have actually told you about the names though. We've had a discussion about that, right? We talked about how the names are Duchess, Cupcake, Vignette. And what's the other one? Duchess, Cupcake, Vignette, and Creepy Doll. That is what she calls them. That is not their actual names. But I just like, that's how she refers to them. Okay. Guys, why I'm really liking Money. Like, I'm really liking it. Like, this is a good book. Like, I am enjoying it. It's weird, but like, I'm loving it. And it's like a little bit creepy and it's a little bit like, what's going on? But like, I love it. They attack refugees a lot, like the characters. So I finished this book, And I think the ending is open-ended. Either that or I'm missing the ending. Okay, I think that's just how it ends. Honestly, there's a lot of like fairy tale vibes to this book. Like, I feel like she's obviously Snow White because she's really pale. She's got like dark hair. She always wears red lipstick. There's apples. There's so many apples that are throughout this book, like, and then poison apples, and then there's a scene where they call each other Hansel and Gretel. There's a whole bunch of like roses, like from Beauty and the Beast, I guess, but yeah, like that rose stuff that she has, like, you know, when she took the pills with the vinegar, then yeah, she had the rose stuff to help it. There's so many scenes where I'll be like, tell me a story, tell me a story. Honestly, the book is really quite whimsical. Anyways, as I was reading, I noted down some pages to really show you an example of what I mean when I say that I like the writing in it. First of all, I like the way it's written. I feel like it just works well with my brain. But I have like specific pages which I'm gonna like read to you little passages of, just so like you're kind of aware, you kind of know. But aside from that, like, I really don't have anything else to say about this book. I don't know what else there is to say. Like, this book was, I feel like everything I've said. I'm seeing Gladiator 2 tonight. Sometimes I get stuck and it's like, you think about all the people doing things. Like, I bet there's not a single person in the world who would have read this book this morning and then is gonna see Gladiator 2 tonight. Okay. That was exorcism water. She sniffed. When I dared to look at her, she was smiling. Why was it purple? She wore her tears like tiny crystals that tipped her lashes. Because, I don't know, I didn't have the heart to make anything up. It's so quiet, she said. 3 a.m. and as usual the town was dead. She laid down with zebra stripes stuck behind her, and she pulled me down beside her. Don't you care where you come from? Don't you wonder? When we looked at the moon and the moon looked at us, I had thought we would be able to hear when a car was coming, or feel the rumble of its wheels through the tarmac. But headlights were the only warning. And even then I noticed him so late that when we scrambled up from the road, the car's drivers took fright and blared his horn at us as he went past. Like, that kind of writing style, it works for me. I don't know how to explain it. I looked out at the garden through the kitchen window. The sun was setting into storm clouds. There was smoky brightness outside, as if the world was being inspected by candlelight. I feel like I need to reread this book like 10 times to be able to give you a more coherent review and more coherent thoughts. But alas, since I've already read it once, what I have said, that is all we're gonna get. Now let's read Bunny. Like, I'm not even giving myself any time. Like, just straight into Bunny. Because, yeah, straight into Bunny. Okay. How does it go from eating little mini foods, because there's a restaurant called Mini where they just give mini foods, how does it go from that to them doing such messed up, weird rituals? Okay. See, I really like this. This is a book that I will be 100% rereading. I don't know if it's a 5 stars. I don't know if it's 5 stars. I feel like it's okay, if it's not 5 stars, it's like 4.75 to 4.95. Like, that's how much I genuinely loved this book. The ending line, so like, this book, I feel like there are so many layers to this book, and I feel like to properly appreciate it, I literally need to read this book like maybe 100 times to be able to understand every single little thing and how every single little thing, it's just was like, I really love this. The back says, a brilliant, utterly unique peek into the dark side of female friendship. Oh, I don't know, I really liked this book. Like, this book was so good. It was so good. You know what? No, it's 5 stars. I'm giving it 5 stars. So it's currently Saturday night and I was planning on reading these two. I'm not gonna get them done. I am not. Like, I'm just I'm not going to, and I still would like to read 30 books in November. So am I gonna be cheating a little bit by going to reading these two, which are graphic novels? Like, do you see what I'm saying? But I have wanted to read. I started watching Heartstopper and I really liked the show. What I remember about the show is that there were little like cartoon illustrations on the screen that were from in here. So I stopped it because I'm like, hang on, I wanna read them first. I want to read the graphic novels first before the show, before I like finish the show. So yeah, I would like to read these. And okay, basically they're about Nick and Charlie. Nick is a football player. Charlie is like more quiet, reserved, shy. And then it's about their relationship together. And yeah, see what I'm saying? Like the leaves, like in the show, the leaves show up. And so I mean, the moment that I got these in, I wanted to read them. I just wanted to. Oh, you didn't even see. I was pointing at them. So I'm going, and also, so look at how beautiful they all look together. I will be reading these two tonight. Yeah, I guess I'll update you when it's done. These books, I'm so really excited to read them. Not enough time for this video. No, I've got to get this video done, edited and uploaded because the time is running out. I shouldn't have started this video, this like idea to read 30 books in November when a week had already passed in November, because now I'm like excessively playing catch up. Like I've got to read like multiple books a day from here on out, which, you know, I can do. I'm going tomorrow. I'm having a little like, I'm going on a little like adventure with my friends. So yeah, there's no time. But after that, I will then, this is just a little quick everything here. But after I finish reading these, then I will do a little like full recap at the very end. Okay, are we excited? Yeah, okay, let's go. So it is night now, as you'll see outside, but that's okay because I finished both of these and I have some thoughts. New location unlocked. The bathroom floor. Okay, wait, let me talk about this. Let me talk about this. Wait, this is an amazing angle, isn't it? Okay. So what Heartstopper is about is basically Nick and Charlie, which are these two guys, and they're still in high school, and Charlie is gay and Nick is just sort of figuring himself out. And so it's about like their friendship, which then blossoms into something more and develops into something more. First of all, like I'm actually obsessed with the illustrations and stuff in this book. I love it. I think it's so sweet. I love that it's set in England. This one also did end on a cliffhanger, so I just immediately went into, well, not really like a cliffhanger, it was a cliffhanger. So I just immediately went into this one before I even updated you because I had to know. We see more like side characters and stuff in this one. Like we see each of their friends and kind of situations that they do and go through with their friends. I saw things so clearly because I did watch season 1, but I'm gonna rewatch it and then watch season 2 and season 3 after I finish reading the books. That's what I think I'm gonna do. And I cannot wait for the others. Also, yes, Gladiator is on. Yes, I did watch it yesterday, prepare for Gladiator 2. Yes, I'm watching it again. Gladiator 2, first one, still better, and the second one, I don't know, I don't really, they went with something and it just doesn't really line up with the first one. And it's like, if Maximus was like this such a noble guy, then like, he wouldn't be his, like, because that means he cheated on his wife, yes? Because they were the same age. The two kids were the same age, they were like both 8. But then in the second one, I was like, oh no, he would have been told, but unless it was talent. I still love the first one. Did I cry at the ending? Yes, I did. I love normal people. And unfortunately, I was just there like, this is the guy from Normal. I was just like thinking, and unfortunately, like I was thinking about normal people. I'm gonna edit now, but that's my update in case like anyone was wondering. I just thought I'd just let you guys know. And the ambience on in the background. But yeah, I've cried in both movies, and I think I will continue to cry in both movies. It's just, I can't help it. Like, at the end of the movie, I was sobbing. I was in tears by just what happened. Like, the grass, like, you guys know, you know. And then I was just sobbing, and then everyone else was just fine. And everyone else was like, just, and I over here sobbing. Like, where were the sobbers? Why was I the only person crying? Okay, like, where was everyone else who was crying? But, like, I was just, like, in tears. Okay. I'm sorry. Honestly, the second one, really kind of same thing as first. Wait, no, but like kind of did follow the same thing. Like I'm watching it like, oh, this seems really familiar. Oh yeah, it's like the first one, just like different characters and like a different sort of thing. Anyways, I'm gonna go, but those are my thoughts. Here is where it may get slightly confusing because I was planning on doing like a Spooktober October reading vlog, but as you can see, it's clearly November, so I was like, okay, so this is basically just the footage of that video, which like was now just morphing into like me reading 10 books in this video, so I can then read 30 books overall in November, and I read 2 books in this next part. I'm going to talk about The Falkhoff Ghost, and I'm also going to talk about The Girl from the World, which is books that you've already seen me talk about. So it might get slightly confusing. I hope that's okay, but like that's just why there's like an intro, and like my hair is like freshly done, or as you can see, like it's already starting to grow out again. But that's kind of just for context, like what's going on. Okay, can we talk about my dress for a second? I'm on my tippy toes, but I'm gonna get on my bed so that I can show you, because I feel like honestly it's giving kind of Ariel vibes, and because like my hair is like red. Also, look at my sparkles. Okay, basically, okay, I'm gonna talk about the sparkles in a second, but the reason why I have sparkles is because I was wearing this shirt to work today, and like the sparkles just matched, but then now it's like, okay, I feel like the sparkles will be a waste if I didn't go out, so I'm gonna go clubbing tonight, so I'm gonna make this really quick. But anyways, the reason why I'm doing this is because I feel like I keep showing myself on the internet looking like a bum, like my hair is all messy, I've just woken up, like I'm just like, ew, like get a grip. I'm going to just show you my dress, because to like how to rectify all times I've looked hideous. Oof. It's just, don't look at my bra strap. Isn't it just like so beautiful? I was thinking, okay, it's October, it's Halloween. What if I do like an ultimate Halloween reading vlog? Like not reading Halloween books, because that's gonna be next video, but what if I do like a Halloween readathon? So like a witch book, a vampire book, a haunted house book, like a paranormal book. Like perhaps I should do that. So that's what is gonna be this reading vlog. I'm gonna show you the books. Now, are they all a little bit shorter? Yes, and I'll explain why. It's because it is currently the 25th of October. October is almost over. And like, what have I been doing this entire month? Not reading the books that I specifically bought for this month, but I have these. I'm gonna quickly go through them like in 2 seconds flat, just so you can kind of know what to expect. I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath from talking. I'm gonna start off with the witch book. We have Charmed. What this book is about. Okay, this is based on a book based on a TV show. Basically, these 3 girls, they do like this incantation, not expecting it to work, and then it works. And now there's an evil warlock trying to steal their powers because the incantation actually worked. I did get this book used. I didn't do that. I don't know what is up with the pages there. Like, what is that? I don't know, but I don't really care because the inside, I really like the font. I really like the bolded font. But this book, yeah, this is the witch option. I'm excited to read this. Yes, okay. And then we have the like paranormal thing. So this book is described as part The Ring, part The Grudge, and part The Exorcist. 3 movies which I have seen and honestly love in their own way. Basically, this is a restless spirit who viciously takes the lives of children. It's also under 300 pages, isn't it? Or is it like, yeah, I think it is. So this is exactly what I need to get this video for you guys, because I bought Halloween books and then I haven't read any of them. Okay, next we have a haunted house book. Again, this is because it's short, on the shorter side. We have The Falkhoff Ghost. This is an author that I like read with my grandma, so like I buy the books and then she reads them or I read them, and like we like talk about it like a book club, and she's read this book and I haven't, so like I was meaning to read this book anyways. Something is being hidden away, kept safely out of sight, and the children can't shake the feeling that it's watching them. That seems interesting. I'll read it. Well, obviously, I don't know, I think my grandma has read that one, and I think my grandma said that, I can't remember what she said about it. I'm gonna have to message her and be like, Grandma, what do you think of this? Okay, and next we have the book that inspired Dracula. So Bram Stoker. I don't know, I'm bad with pronunciations. I'm really bad with pronunciations. He read this book and was inspired by Dracula. We have Camilla. This, yes, such Cinderella vibes, is it not? This book is, again, wonderful. Like, look. So, this, in this reading vlog, you're gonna see, this is the marathon. Vampire? Wait, is there a vampire? I just assumed that there was a vampire in this because Dracula was inspired by it, so I'm assuming this vampire's in this. Imagine it's just not. The back, yes, give us something. So, vampire book, haunted house book, paranormal book, which book. If you have favorite books like from that, like from each of these categories, let me know. Like, give me some recommendations in the comment section and I'll add them to my list. And maybe, and you know, I might actually somewhat have them. Like, I genuinely, like, I might have them already. But yeah, and if you've read any of these books, you know, like, talk with me about it. Like, that's why I made this, so I can talk to people about the books that I read. So, yes, that is the start of the thing. But now I have to go and get ready. I'm only young once, and clubbing revives me. And I haven't gone clubbing in, like, ages. Yeah, like, I think the last time I went was like 3 weeks ago. But then I was really sick. I'm not sick anymore, obviously. But I was sick, so then I couldn't go. Okay, you guys, I will see you very shortly. The dress I'm wearing is actually so sparkly that, like, if I sit anywhere or stand anywhere, like, just move around, sparkles will get everywhere. If I, like, sit someplace, sparkles will get everywhere. Like, I literally sat outside once, like, on the concrete, and it was there for so long. Like, but love it though. I like sparkles. Okay, so I'm gonna actually start reading. I might start reading this one. It's because that's the first one. Pretty short, so let's start this one. Oh, okay, a novelization based on the hit TV series. So this book came after the movie. I mean, after the TV show. Not this again. And I really do like these really small books with the bolted font. The old-fashioned ones. I do quite like it, so I'll put up with whatever the hell that is. The Power of Three. So your little reading. The prologue. Serena Frederick flipped open the white kitchen shutters and stared out into the night. Through the mist, lights glowed softly in the apartment building across the street, and grey clouds hid the full moon over the... Full moon? A werewolf? Okay, so I'm going to read this just for a bit until I gotta go. I'm actually going to take this book with me just because tomorrow when I get the train home, because I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning, for 10 a.m. So, will I be sleeping? Probably not. But I'll bring this so that maybe when I'm on the train, I have something to read. That could be something I do. However, I don't know, I used to get like motion sickness, like I just get nauseous if I tried to do anything when I was younger, but I don't know if that still stands. I guess we'll see tomorrow. I really do like sparkles. I really do. Okay, so there has been quite the passage of time between that last clip and now. Essentially, after I filmed that video, quite a lot in my life happened. First of all, never got on a train, like, at all. And also, I was a passenger princess. Really, like, I don't know why so many people, like, have an aversion to me catching the train. But it's like, no, I'll just come get you or I'll just drive you home. When I'm like, I actually love the train, but, like... Anyways, also, my doctor's appointment was cancelled. So, let's just say that fate was 100%, 100 million% on my side. And then after that, I got sick. And all of a sudden, then I just had a, like, bacterial infection. And so I'm on antibiotics. Whatever, I feel fine, really. And then I was just smashed, like, but, like, I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't go to work. I had a really high fever, blah, blah, blah. And then all I could do was just, well, all I was forcing myself to do was uni. And I'm like, you just have to do this because so many assignments, so many tests, a statistics exam to prepare for, which I actually like. Statistics, I was so nervous about this course because it's got, like, such a high fail rate. Regardless, okay, that exam was on Monday. It's, like, Tuesday today. Is it? What was I saying? Oh yeah, that exam is on Monday, and I honestly, I know I did really well. But also, even if I was to get 0, which is incredibly unlikely, like, I know I'm gonna get a really good mark on the exam. I was nervous though, because I'm like, it's 40%. Whatever, I actually have to study for this. But it's okay because I went into the exam, like, I've already passed the course. Like, all my, like, assignments and test results from, like, in the semester made me have already, like, passed the course. So even if I do get 0, which I'm not going to, but even if I was to get 0, it wouldn't matter because I've already passed. Uni's over now for me until next year. Let's just ignore the fact that we are in what, November now. I'm gonna try to read these books. I picked these books for the sole purpose fact that they were small. I need to get this done, and then I need to read these, and then I can, you know, start doing some fun videos. And you know what, I can like read more, because now all I have to do is work, which I'm gonna have heaps of time now, because also I can also guilt-free read, because also when I have uni, like in the semester, I'm reading, like I've read like quite a lot, but if I read like a lot, I'm just like, I could have been using this time way better. Like I could have been studying, I could have been watching lectures, I could have been writing notes, I could have been doing assignments, I could have been studying, blah 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 blah. So yes, I'm gonna actually finish this. I thought this book was The Craft. It's not, but The Craft, yeah, maybe I can see if I can find the Charm TV show. Where even is the Charm TV show? Oh, it's on Stan. Oh, there's 8 seasons. That girl in the middle looks so much like Sydney Prescott. Wait. Oh, wait, no, I think I'm gonna actually like this. So, we're gonna start that. We're also gonna start this. Oh, it's so hot. I'm actually dying. But I'm not putting on the aircon because I'm the only one in the house. And I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but I just feel like it's selfish to be like wasting the cold air when it's just me in the house, when like I can just survive even though I'm kind of dying a little bit. But like I feel like it's selfish. Does anyone else feel like that? Like you don't like when you don't like leaving any lights or stuff on because like I don't know.
Ingredient for my recipe. That's perfect.
This book is a less than 200 pages and I am up to chapter 10 and I'm up to page 101. For what this book is, which is an adaptation of a TV show, which I've almost finished the first episode, and can I just say, I am loving it. I love the vibes. I love old shows because I love the graininess of it. You know how shows nowadays just look like a commercial because the quality is so good? I don't really like that. And I am very interested in witches and things like that. So the show I'm actually really enjoying and I'm going to continue watching it because I think it's really interesting. Basically, this book is about these 3 sisters. We have Prue, we have Piper, and we have Phoebe. Phoebe basically finds this book and she reads this incantation and essentially makes them all turn into witches. So she can see the future. Prue can move objects with her mind and Piper can freeze time. So all these powers are very interesting and they all basically originate from this one witch who was burned at the stake. And this woman was really powerful and she said that with each generation, the women were going to get stronger and stronger until there were going to be 3 sisters who are going to be the most powerful witches of all time. They're there. And then there's this guy who's actually a warlock, but he's killing witches because if you kill witches, you get their power. And I think they're gonna have to stop him from doing it. But, you know, for what it is, it's good. I'm really enjoying it. I love the font. It's very quick and easy to read. And yes, I will definitely be getting this book finished. I think if you wanted to read it, I think you can only get it secondhand now. I don't know if they're just like casually still in print. I don't know if they are. Will I continue on with this series? I know I haven't finished it yet, but what I will say is if the book happened, if I randomly stumble upon it, randomly find it, maybe, but I don't know, I think I'm just going to read this and then just watch the show because I am really liking the show. But there is like literally like 50 books. Okay, I don't know if there's 50, but I think there's like 31 and then there's like multiple like little spin-off things. So that is just a lot of books. Also, this is a Magnolia Park shirt and I really badly want to reread the series because I remember when I first read it, I did not like it. But I'm thinking if I went back and reread it, I would just, because I know everything and I know all the characters, I feel like I'm gonna love it. And I also just can't stop thinking about it. And like, I genuinely feel like there are several books in that series that are 5 stars because I think I read them when I was in my phase of, I'm not rating books anymore. Because at that point, I just felt like I was either being too harsh or I just didn't know. But I really do want to reread it again because it's just, I want to. But also the amount of books that I have in my physical TBR and like me over here just wanting to reread books I know I'm gonna like. that's what I do with shows as well. Like, I'd rather rewatch shows and movies that I know I love rather than new stuff, because I get disappointed a lot. But I don't know, I really do want to reread it. And I don't know, I feel like I want to do that next year. I genuinely cannot stop thinking about that series. Also, Jessa Hastings, she's releasing a new book, which is coming out next year. And I'm super excited to read that. There are so many authors that I want to read. There are so many books that I want to read, and I just feel like there's just not enough time. But I feel like now's the perfect time for me to like read just as like much as I possibly can while I still have all the time I have, because that sounded really ominous. I just mean because I literally finished uni this week. So, well, like for this year, obviously, but I have like a few months now. I also did purchase some Christmas books because there's something about the seasonal books. She was just almost murdered, one of the characters. I'm not going to tell you who because that's kind of a spoiler, but someone was almost murdered, okay? And then the murderer was like, I'm sorry, I just get a little carried away. He hasn't actually done it because like someone interrupted him about to kill her, but then yeah, that's what he said. I'm sorry, I just get a little carried away. That is the worst excuse I've ever heard. I'm just trying to get inside the murderer's head, trying to figure out what and when his next move might be. Not her actually believing it. Not her believing that. That's wild. Oh yeah, also when their ancestor, Melinda Warren, she's one who was burned at the stake, and she was like, yeah, each of the generations are going to get stronger. She said that the three sisters, they were going to be called the Charmed ones, which is why I'm assuming it's called Charmed. One thing about me is I love in books and movies when there is a skeptic, someone who's skeptic about anything paranormal, anything, in this case, obviously it's witch related, and they're like, we're not witches, okay? Well, guess what? You are. Their belief, their original belief, gets proved wrong. Guys, I'm actually really enjoying this. And it's also, okay, the writing is not very complex, so it's just simply like a fun, easy time. You're just simply reading it, picturing everything, and you don't really have to think too hard about anything, which, you know, sometimes it's nice to just read a book and like not have to be pondering every single word and every single sentence and being like, what does this mean? I know I've talked about this before, but imagine being able to freeze time. When your alarm would go off in the morning, right? You could just freeze and go to sleep, go back to sleep, and then unfreeze, and then, I don't know, like, wouldn't that just be great? I wish I had powers. Stop, I wish I had powers. I wish I had something. Okay, so there was actually a little bit of a twist, but I finished this, and for what it was, I really enjoyed it. Now, was it the best thing I ever read? No. Am I, like, really badly wanting to reread it? No. However, I am glad that this book has introduced me into the TV show, because that is something that I will be continuing to watch, unless something happens and I'm like, actually, I don't want to watch this anymore. But so far, I've even finished this first episode. I am liking it. I apologize for the brief, really bad quality. I'm going to go back to my phone in a second, but I just wanted to read out to you what Camilla is about, because this is going to be the next book we read. So it says, in an isolated castle deep in the Austrian forest, Laura leads a solitary life with only her ailing father for company, until one moonlit night a horse-drawn carriage crashes into view carrying an unexpected guest, the beautiful Camilla. So begins a feverish friendship between Laura and her mysterious and entrancing companion. But as Camilla becomes increasingly strange and volatile, prone to eerie nocturnal wanderings, Laura finds herself tormented by nightmares and growing weaker by the day. Predating Dracula by 26 years, Camilla is the original vampire story steeped in sexual tension and gothic romance. And it has actually kind of, like, it's 3.86 on Goodreads. Okay, so I just read this person's review. Apparently it's homophobic, because this book is about a lesbian vampire, but she's portrayed really negatively. And also, there's some racist things in it. A lot of people are just saying that, like, it's just very obvious it was written by an old white man. Okay, I found an audiobook for free on YouTube, and I'm going to listen to that while I paint my nails. The main thing that I'm getting about all the reviews is that this book was written in 1972 by a white man, and it's just very blatantly obvious that that was the case. So it's heavily a product of its time. At chapter 1, the early fright.
To see the nursery maid. Neither was my nurse there. And
I'm 26 minutes into the audiobook, and the lady is, and also I've painted my nails, the lady is a really good narrator, and if it wasn't for her, I would have already, like, given up. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would have persevered. I don't know if I'd keep persevering. Maybe, has someone rewritten this? Someone should, like, maybe rewrite this. I'd read that. See, because I really did think that this was written by a woman, because I knew a girl and her name was Sheridan. Anyways, it's not. Oh, there's a sparkle on this. Do you see that sparkle there? Where did it go? Okay, it went missing. Back to this. See, this book, it sounds so good. I'm only pushing through because it is so short and because of the audiobook. I want to rewrite this. Okay. Time for this book now. We're at the little wrap-up part. This is not going to be very in-depth because obviously I have all the videos that you will have seen up until this point. So I guess I'm just going to start with like the top and make my way down. So love these two. I thought they were so cute and wholesome and sweet, and I really liked the progression into friendship, into something more, and just like the way that they were both like sort of figuring themselves out, and just, I don't know, this was really sweet, and I really loved it. Then we had Bunny. I love this. It was it was so weird. There are so many layers to the book, so many things happen, and it's like, what is going on? What is actually going on in here? It's wild. It's very satirical, obviously. You know, I just it's just like this group of girls that just, they wear these like little outfits and eat mini foods, and it's just the things that they get up to, like the rituals and then the whole like summoning demonic part, and like it's just, I love this so much. So I ended up just rating it 5 stars because like it's just 5 stars. I'm also not going to rate the graphic novels just because I just feel like I don't really know how to rate them, so I'm just not going to. Next we have Writer's Switching. I don't know what I'm going to rate this. This book was, again, so many layers, very fairy tale-esque with all the like different fairy tale elements. I really enjoyed this. Like I really liked the writing style in this. Like the writing style in this book, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but it's just, it's hard to explain, but it's just whatever writing style this kind of is, I kind of like it. And then we have Charmed, which for what it's worth, like, you know, a book based off of a TV show, and that was made a long time ago. It was fun, like, and yeah, I am getting the second one. The second one is on its way, unless I was scammed, which I don't think I am, because the seller seems really nice. She like gave me an update. She's like, hi, just letting you know, blah blah blah. But yeah, so for what it's worth, yeah, fun, very much Halloweeny, even though it's not Halloween and it hasn't been Halloween for a while. Then we have Camilla. I'm very open if anyone has like any remakes or like retellings of this, and it's done well, because the premise is interesting, but it's just, yeah, I mean, it was written in 1872, so it's obvious that it was written in 1872, which I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out, okay? And then we have The Naturals, which I really loved. Again, Why Criminal Minds, love this. Cannot wait to continue on with this series. It's just, it's so, you when you start reading it, make sure you actually have nothing to do, because you will not be able to stop. You will literally love this. Why? I love like so many of this. This is really good, actually. Then we have The Twisted Ones. This book, it reminds me of someone that I used to know. I'm so dramatic. Yes, I think I'll always associate this book with He Who Shall Not Be Named. I never named him. What's his name? Stop. Okay, now this one, again, it's so weird, so many layers. It's like, once I got to the, you know, the city part, I was like, what? Like, if you know, you know. Again, all these books, they just have so many layers to it. Oh, and yes, what is the book? where is it? A Sorceress Comes to Call, like it's right behind you. That's the Goose Girl retelling. Also another note, like the Goodreads choice thing, you can like vote now, and A Sorceress Comes to Call is on one of the lists. So I was like, oh, I have that. So maybe I'm like more inclined to read it now. I don't know. Like I definitely will continue to read from this author. Like I have another book from this author. Like literally I'm looking at it right there. Like I'm literally touching the spine right now. But yes. And then we have The Forecroft Ghosts. Yeah, it was alright. Like I'm not obsessed. I'm not obsessed. But yeah, like I definitely prefer other books that this author has written. But yeah, this was like, yeah, it was, you know, like, will I be like really looking to reread this? No, but that's okay. Yeah, and then the same thing kind of goes with this one. Like, I mean, it's alright. Like, it's alright. This book was definitely one of my least favorite. This book was definitely one of the least favorites out of the 10 books that well, all of them together are the 10 books, but probably like one of my least favorites. I like the cover though, and honestly, like I thought it was gonna be a girls trip, and so I was just so excited that it was gonna be a girls trip. And it just wasn't. And it was like couples, and I was just like, so I had like my own expectations. I really did think it was just gonna be a girls trip, and it wasn't. So that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting something girls trip and campy and fun, and then, you know, like a monster in the woods. And yeah. And unfortunately, I have literally read and seen so many plot lines that were so similar to this. Like, it was just so obvious, because it's been done so many times. And if you've read it, you'll know. If you want to talk about it with me, we can talk about it. But that is all I have so far. I'm gonna go now, but thank you so much for watching, and yes, I'll see you for installment 2 and installment 3.
I have a theory of what I think's happened. Can I tell you? Okay.
So, you know the girl who had the blueberries? Her name is Lindsay. I think that, because she had a seizure after she ate the berries, I think that she's not actually dead. Like, I think, because in another point of view, they said that you needed, like, 20 berries and that would kill you, right? But she only had, like, 10 and 15. So she had enough to make herself sick, but I don't think she had enough to kill herself. And also, her boyfriend, his name is Warner, he's kind of the worst. And I feel like they're setting up, I don't know, I feel like they're setting it up for to be lots of other people. And I feel like because Lindsay's, like, the nicest, I feel like it's her. Because she's just, and I've thought about it from the very start, because she's the first person that's mentioned, aside from the main characters. And I feel like oftentimes it's one of the first people that's mentioned that's the person. So I think Lindsay's not actually dead. And I think she's able to navigate the woods. And I also think that there's another character, his name is Jack, I think, because he's the one that's cheating with the main character. I think he was also cheating with Lindsay. I think he's just a cheater. Because they were going around saying everything they liked about Lindsay, and he said about how he thought that she was the most beautiful girl, and he got nervous and like dropped a box of brownies on the stairs in college, and then they just sat on the stairs and ate them together.